They say betrayal cuts deepest when it comes from family. I used to laugh at that line until it became my life. The man I thought I would spend forever with was stolen by the one person I trusted most, my own sister. But fate has a cruel sense of humor, because on what should have been my happiest day, it became her worst nightmare. My name is Alina. For most of my life, I believed I had the perfect family. My younger sister, Sarah, was playful, always getting into trouble, but I loved her dearly. And then there was Daniel, my fiancé. He was charming, ambitious, and everything I thought I wanted. When he proposed to me, I felt like I was living in a fairy tale. We planned our wedding together, the flowers, the venue, the invitations. I would often sit with Sarah late at night, showing her the dress designs and telling her about my dreams. She smiled, helped me, and said, "You're so lucky, Helena. Daniel really is perfect." I had no idea her smile hid a secret. One evening, I came home earlier than expected. I opened the door to laughter echoing from the living room. Daniel and Sarah were sitting too close, their hands brushing as they whispered. At first, I told myself I was imagining things. But the unease grew. The next weeks were filled with small signs, Sarah wearing a necklace I hadn't seen before, Daniel canceling dates at the last minute, the two of them exchanging glances they thought I wouldn't notice. And then, the truth ripped my world apart. 2 nights before my bridal shower, I went upstairs to find Sarah's bedroom door half open. There they were, my fiancé and my sister, locked in an embrace I could never unsee. My heart sank. My legs trembled. They noticed me, and instead of guilt, I saw panic. "Alina, wait, it's not what you think," Daniel stammered. But Sarah smirked. "She deserves to know, Daniel. We love each other. And honestly, Alina, he was never really yours." The words pierced through me like knives. My own sister. My blood. I screamed, I cried, I begged for an explanation, but deep inside, I knew the truth. They had been betraying me for months. The wedding was called off. Invitations were canceled, my friends whispered, and relatives judged. Worst of all, Sarah and Daniel announced just weeks later that they were engaged. The humiliation was unbearable. My parents, though hurt, begged me to move on. But how do you move on when your sister is preparing to marry the man who once promised you forever? Nights were the hardest. I replayed every moment, every lie. The loneliness was suffocating. At times, I wanted to disappear. But in that darkness, something inside me hardened. Betrayal had broken me, yes, but it had also lit a fire. If they thought I would watch silently as they built their happiness on my pain, they were wrong. When their wedding date was announced, I knew exactly what I had to do. Fate had handed me an opportunity. I learned that Daniel's business deals weren't as clean as he pretended. Through an old college friend who worked in finance, I discovered Daniel had been involved in shady transactions, hiding money, and even cheating investors. And Sarah? She knew nothing. She thought she was marrying a successful, wealthy man. I collected evidence, bank statements, recorded calls, documents that could destroy his reputation. And I waited. The day arrived. The hall was decorated in white roses, music floated in the air, and guests filled the seats. Sarah looked radiant in her gown, smug and satisfied. Daniel stood at the altar, smiling like he'd won some prize. I walked in quietly, wearing a simple but elegant dress. Whispers spread like wildfire. Some thought I was bold, others pitied me. But no one knew what was about to unfold. When the priest asked if anyone had an objection, I stood. The room went silent. My voice was calm but carried across the hall. Yes, I have an objection. All eyes turned. Sarah's face drained of color. Daniel's smile froze. I walked slowly down the aisle, holding a folder. This man, my sister's so-called dream husband, is a liar and a fraud. While planning his wedding with my sister, he was busy stealing from investors and hiding debts. Gasps erupted. I handed copies of documents to the priest, the parents, even to guests. Phones came out, pictures snapped. Daniel stuttered, "She's lying. This is revenge." But my evidence was undeniable. Voices rose, chaos erupted, and within minutes, the dream wedding turned into a nightmare. Daniel was dragged away by authorities days later. His reputation was ruined, his finances destroyed. And Sarah? Her perfect fairy tale collapsed before her eyes. She screamed, cried, even begged me to take it back, but it was too late. The world had seen the truth. At home, my parents couldn't look me in the eye. Sarah had been their golden child, yet now she was the one in ruins. As for me, I didn't feel joy. Revenge isn't sweet, it's bittersweet. But I felt free. For the first time, the chains of betrayal had fallen away. Months later, I stood in front of the mirror, stronger, calmer. Betrayal had tried to destroy me, but it had forged me instead. My sister stole my fiancé, yes. But in the end, it wasn't me who lost everything. It was her. And on what should have been her happiest day, she discovered that karma always walks hand in hand with fate.